there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design.
Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
However big, however small, let me be part of it all. Share your dreams with me. You may be right, you may be wrong, but say that you'll bring me along to the world you see, to the world I close my eyes to see. I close my eyes to see.
Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head.
A million dreams are keeping me
A million dreams, a million dreams. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
for the world we're gonna make.
I'll be looking back on this and I'll say, I'm so happy that you said you would stay. There were times I know that I was crazy, fraying at the edges and you saved me. I'm losing count of chances that you gave me. You're laughing at me dancing really badly, and telling me the reasons why you'd gladly do it all again. Cause I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Well, hey, words can never adequately convey everything you're giving to me today. But holding you is better than a holiday, and leaving you I dread it like exam day. So at the risk of sounding kinda risque, everything to now has been the foreplay. Darling, I would follow you to Norway, or anywhere you want it. Cause I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. One day, when we're getting wrinkly and our hair's grey, a rusty old banger in the driveway, one of us will maybe wear a toupee, but I will be in love with you.
We always start this with our lessons. I mean, I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. And I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you when you're in the backstage and ready to share your message that you've been working on for 8 weeks relentlessly. For some of you, you created your whole story and you practiced and you practiced. And for some of you, you're like, whoa, I've learned a lot. And yesterday, you're like, I still don't really know what my story is about, but you all showed up. You all showed up with, you know what, I'm going to serve today. I'm going to share the way I've been learning the transformational speaking skills, but also the insight that I've inside of myself. You're amazing. You're absolutely amazing. And I'm talking to you if you're watching right now. You are already amazing showing up using one of the 3 steps that I'm going to share with you right now on how you can get the most out of this epic event. And you're, again, already doing one of the 3 because you're here to learn, aren't you? You're here to write down in your notes, to get all the knowledge, absorb it on the insights that they're sharing. You're here to take notes, not only on the inside, but also on the way the speakers are speaking. Because what they're doing, how they're speaking, that's what you can learn from as well. That's number 1 of the 3 elements on how you can get most out of this experience. But again, you're already doing one of the 3, and this is not yet it. Because number 2 is what we call in this impact maker family, is what we all want to be, is transformational speakers. And transformational speakers are people who not just share and speak and are the loudest and raise their hand more often, but they're also the ones who can listen well. They're also the ones who can share that energy back. And I already see so many amazing comments in the chat. Wherever you're tuning in from today, just know that under the stream right there is an orange button with go to the chat, right? Open the live chat. When you open the live chat, you're able to interact with us right here. I see, I don't know, Popsy dude, what your real name is, but we got you over there. We've got people from Osborne. We've got people from Holland. Please put that in the chat right now where you're tuning in from today so we know where you are. I see some excitement from Rami. I see some excited from Judith from the Netherlands. Where are you all tuning in from? Use the chat to share that with us. We've got Peter. He's excited. He's tuning in from the UK. We've got people all over the world. We've got Linda, amazing Linda from New Jersey. We've got California over there. We've got South Florida. People are tuning all over the world. But what do we have? We've got Berkeley, California. Your real name is Asbjørn from Denmark. Well, hello. So the first thing that you can do to take most out of this experience is to take notes on the insights that you're learning, but also to take notes on the way the speakers are speaking so you get most out of this. Number 2 is use that chat. Use that chat to interact with the speakers. Use that chat to bring the energy. Can we agree that a real awesome audience is really important for speakers to flourish too, right? I know I cannot see you, but we feel each other. Can you raise your hand if you agree with me right there? That if you play full out, that the speakers will feel the energy and they bring their next level, because I can tell you, they've been working for 8 weeks. Yes, they had the support. Yes, they had the steps. Yes, they had the interaction. But it's still a big moment to share their message, to share what's on their heart, to be seen while other people are watching. So just know that you are incredibly, incredibly important to make this a transformational experience. And then last but not least, what you can do right here, which makes the 3rd step of how you as a watcher can take most out of this experience, is to Not think about your grocery list. Not think about the to-dos and the calendar. Just get your tab off of your Outlook, of your emails, and be present. Be present for yourself and be present for the speakers. So, again, I'm not bad myself, and you're absolutely amazing. I am Lori, and I am super, super stoked to share with you the amazing speakers that I was able to help to create their amazing, amazing stories that they're going to share with you. And the fun thing is, you see me now really big, but the screen that I'm able to watch is I also see the speakers in their back screen. And some of them are like, Laura, you're talking for a really long time now. I know I'm the first speaker. I'm ready, girl. Just bring me up. So I'm not going to hold you here longer. Just know that you're using the chat. You're playing full out because that way you are going to learn most out of this. But with that said, I am going to introduce the first speaker of today. And this first speaker is not just a speaker. This person is an absolute visionary CPA. She is a financial empowerment expert. She's the founder of Beyond the Numbers, the founder of Business Solutions. She created 7- and 8-figure companies. And right now, with her 3 decades of experience in the finance and the business strategy world, she's now on a mission. She's now on a mission to help people just like you, wherever you are, to take that next level, to build absolute financial literacy so you can live the life that you want to live. The person that I'm talking about is no one less than Nilsa Santiago. Bring it up for Nilsa. Yes, in the chat. Nilsa, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Lori, for that introduction. I'm very grateful for everybody who's watching this keynote today. Okay, so is it okay that I share a true story that happened to me yesterday, but I have to take you on a journey to 2018? Yes, perfect. 2018, Puerto Rico was hit by the biggest storm ever, 170 miles per hour, just destroyed the whole island. And we were without electricity for 8 months. 8 months, even though we had generators, there was just not enough material, not enough supplies or equipment to go around all the homes that we didn't have electricity. Anyway, so yesterday, this happened literally 24 hours ago. I was right in the middle of the mastermind with Lori and Linda, and I lost electricity. The generator did not kick in. I have to present today, and I needed to refresh my notes and just make sure that everything was perfect. And this is my 3rd time in the public academy, and I still get nervous. And I lean so much on the script. So I said to myself, what if this is the perfect obstacle and uncertainty that I need to just talk and connect with my audience? So I took yesterday's scene, this tiny scene of my life yesterday, and found 3 insights that I think as transformational leaders will be useful. So as Lori said, let's take some notes. Number 1, life happens for you, as Tony Robbins says. So the fact that my computer did not have, I was earlier with Lori checking the tech, and I did not plug in my computer. I couldn't do my work, but as leaders, we are resourceful. Of course, I can go outside and just write it manually, but life is happening for me. And I took this opportunity to just talk to you guys and not read from a script. The second thing I learned is leaders anticipate, because this happened in our home on Saturday, and the generator kicked in, but it kicked in like 5 minutes after the electricity went out. And I knew right then that something was wrong, that I needed to call the maintenance crew, and I didn't. I didn't take massive action in the scene, and that caused a ripple effect on all my deadlines on Monday. And number 3 is procrastination. Why didn't I make the call? Takes a minute. Why didn't I send the text? It takes 30 seconds. And I asked myself, and I want to ask you as well as the audience, what does procrastination really cost? How much is it costing us not launching our business online? Not signing up for that mastermind that we know we need to take our business to the next level, but we continue to think about it. Not planning our tax year. We're now entering the second quarter of 2025. This is the perfect moment to start planning your tax strategy for this year. And of course, something that a lot of leaders procrastinate with is your financial numbers, your growth numbers. Where are you and where do you want to go? So just think about that. A small scene in my life yesterday, losing electricity, brought to the table 3 insights that I think are helpful for all the leaders present today. Now, if you allow me, is it okay that I share another story? This one's a little bit more exciting. I'm invited to the Goldman Sachs Summit in Washington, D.C. And that for me is like Disney for entrepreneurs, or this is like for us who are in the Dean Graciosi Mastermind, Tony Robbins walking in the room and just spending the day with us. That's how exhilarating this event was for me. The lineup of speakers, the high performance business insight, it was extraordinary. And here comes Warren Buffett, not in person, on the phone. They make this whole scene like if it was a movie with the sound in the background. They call him on the phone and he picks up the phone and he celebrates us. He says, small businesses are the backbone of the United States economy. Keep growing your businesses. Never look back. Keep pushing forward. And then he shared 3 insights. Be life learners. Never stop working or creating. He's in his mid-90s and he continues to work as of nothing. I mean, this is his advice to us. Never stop working. And number 3, become become extraordinary public speakers. Because when we learn to communicate to ourselves, our families, our customers, and our business partners, that is the key, the communication. So these are the 3 insights from Warren Buffett. And I just shared some 3 earlier about procrastination, leadership anticipation, and obstacles and uncertainty, how we deal with them. Now, the next speaker, Ryan Reynolds, the actor of Deadpool, shared some interesting insights. He was vulnerable about his anxiety. He also shared how amazing he is on camera because he loves his audience. And he shared an insight about how important marketing is in business and how important it is to always look for the opportunities and the possibilities that we have in front of each other. So he invested in these young guys' gin distillery in Oregon, and he took Aviation Gin, raised the brand, and sold it at $610 million. I'm just sharing this with you because he puts it in such a simple way. We can create. Warren Buffett says we're here to create. And Ryan is saying, hey guys, this is real. You can create, and with marketing, you can grow a business and scale it. And then came my favorite speaker, Chris Paul, an NBA player. And as they were introducing him, I took a sidetrack and remembered when I used to go to my kids' basketball games. I have 2 daughters, Nicole and Michelle, and they both played for the high school and the middle school basketball team. And I would have missed the game. It didn't matter what I had on my schedule. I would rearrange it and be there with my kids to cheer them on. When Chris gets on the stage, I'm thinking he's going to talk about court strategy and about how he became this fabulous, amazing NBA player. But no, he starts talking about finances. And I'm like, oh my God. And he starts saying, when he starts sharing his story, when he got into the NBA, an experienced NBA player called him aside and said, hey, Chris, you're going to come into a lot of money. We're talking 7, 8-figure numbers here. What kind of player are you going to be? And he says, what do you mean? Well, we have player A's. Player A is just going to live the life, buy the luxury cars, the jewelry, the designer clothes, enjoy extravagant parties. But he's going to run into debt. And you know how horrible it is to start playing your passion, your game in debt? You're not going to get ahead. And then we have player B. Player B doesn't know anything about finances, but takes the time to meet with a reputable financial advisor. He starts looking at his life. What happens if I fall in the court? I need some insurance. So he starts thinking about risk management. He starts thinking about his family, his parents, and how he's going to provide for all of them. And not only that, he develops his leadership, and he starts sharing with his family about fitness and nutrition, health. Obviously, Chris, this is where I'm describing Chris Paul. That is the route that he took, but he went a step further. He now advocates for financial literacy around the country. That's how passionate he is about this topic. He reminded everybody in the room, by the way, 2,500 people were in that room, that the finance people have a mission and a responsibility to continue to spread the word that finances and numbers are important. And I agree with him 100%. Yet we are entrepreneurs, and we could just replace the players with entrepreneurs. And we can, since we're creators, let's create a player C. And this is the player that I like. Yes, we're going to live the life because, hey, that's why we're doing all this work that we do, but with responsibility. And we're going to create our asset allocations. We're going to create our financial flexibility so we can enjoy life experiences. And there's nothing more profound for me as a business owner is to take a trip to far lands, Africa, India, Australia, with my family and create those bonding experiences. That for me is priceless. And I don't want to be held up by a financial advisor telling me that I have to put all my money in here when I prefer to put some here, but have the life experiences with my family. That's me, and I just give it to you. I'm giving you 3 options here of how to manage your personal finances and your business growth. Now, I am a CPA, as Lori mentioned. I've read hundreds of balance sheets, profit and loss statements, tax returns. They don't do anything for me. The numbers could be big or tall, big, small. They really don't. They don't tickle me at all. What I'm passionate about is meeting the owner behind the numbers. That's where the real story is. I get to meet the owner. I get to get into his big vision. What is it that he's looking for with his business? I get to meet the families. I get to see pictures of the pets. I get to hear about their traveling experiences. Or I get to see a business owner who's overwhelmed. He's confused. The market is changing on him and he doesn't know what his next steps are. You see, that is not in the numbers. Yet, as business owners, we are measured by these financial statements. And I'm not saying they're not important, they are. But I see them as a report card. Remember when you guys were in school and your parents would say, hey, show me the report card? Some semesters they were great and others they weren't. But this is what I see of financial statements. I like to see the person behind them, the purpose-driven entrepreneur with the big vision who is aligned with his mission. Those are the people I want to meet, and those are the numbers I want to curate. And like I tell Lori, it adds a little magic dust on top of them. And I will tell you right now, you are more than your business numbers. Financial statements don't capture the essence of you, the business owner. They don't, yet we are constantly measured by them. I mentioned that. And I'm not saying that they don't matter. They do, but it's more than that. You are more than that. You all have a compelling future right in front of you. as entrepreneurs, you get to step into what's possible. It's your big vision that carries you forward. I want to remind you all how powerful you are. And when you incorporate this level of thinking and mastery in your business, you can create anything you want, including financial flexibility. Now, as Lori said, we're taking notes. Let's take a little notes here for your to-do list. Number 1, master financial clarity. Whatever that means for you. Don't let anybody dictate it. Whatever that means for you. And then incorporate the triple impact formula in your business. Master profits by taking care of your customers. Take care of everyone on your team, regardless of their role. Always give back to the community by protecting the planet. I will never forget in Business Mastery with Tony Robbins, when he started raising money to help women that were trafficked. And that was so impressive for me to see how all these business owners stood up and donated money. And that's when I knew in my head, scaling a business is important. Creating wealth is important for the right purposes to help the community and the planet. I think it's awesome. And yes, I am a Tony Robbins fan and I've gone to all his programs. Yes. Number 2, personal power. Take care of yourself. Energy matters. Continue your speaking journey using your authentic voice. We all have an internal board of directors. Listen to it. Execute your zone of genius. Don't do things that you don't like. Always focus on doing the things that you love. There's people out there that can help you do the tasks that you don't love. And number 3, my favorite, generational legacy. Your family and loved ones are your legacy they're your legacy. Let's take them to the next level with you. I've seen business owners make mistakes. They're growing and growing and growing. They're not incorporating their family with that. And it's important that we all grow together, because when you're not in the picture anymore, they're the ones that are going to carry your legacy, and not necessarily what you do in business. They might not want to do your business, but the way you taught them to treat humanity, animals, how you treat your neighbors, that's part of the generational legacy. We're always talking generational wealth, but there's another piece to that. One of the best gifts you can give your children and grandchildren is financial knowledge. If you are the business owner that's going to leave a lot of wealth for your kids, we need to talk to them about that. We need to educate them, or else it's going to be like a lost generation, and you don't want that. And most importantly, be present. Be free to experience life with the ones you love. Take walks, travel, share meals. Create moments that last beyond the numbers. This is the ripple effect of losing electricity in my home yesterday. I hope you all took notes, and if you capture one insight and implement it, life is always working for you. Thank you so much, Lori, and the group for joining us today.
Woohoo! Nilsa Santiago, ladies and gentlemen, please put in the chat what your biggest insight was and give Nilsa a compliment on what you think. She did incredibly well. Nilsa, before I'm putting you on the back seat, one sentence, how you feel right now.
I am so proud of myself that, yes, I read a little bit from my notes because those were important points, but I spoke a lot. I just spoke. And I feel free. And thank you, Lori, so much. This is my 3rd round, and now I'm doing the 4th. So I invite you to my 4th round, May 27th, to see how I do in that round.
Well
so thank
done.
you for being here.
Well done, Nilsa, and well done for everybody, because as we started today, and I didn't even mention this specifically, but what we're doing right here for most people on the planet, public speaking, is the number one fear of humankind. So just be here for 10 minutes and to share the message that's on your heart and be able to pivot with something that happened in that specific day. Like, that's bravery all along. So Nilsa, I think it's going to be really cool for you to watch the chat and for everybody to put in what your biggest breakthrough was for yourself. Because again, you're not just here to watch, you're here to learn. You're not just here to learn, you're here to take an insight and transform that into action so you actually start to see that manifestation in your life. And today we're talking about finances. There will be more speakers who will start to share insights around finances with you, some amazing experts. But right now we go more to, let's call it a physical topic. Because the speaker that I'm able to introduce right now is not just someone who does something with sports. He's actually a Paralympic superstar. He is an Irish table tennis player and a speaker, and his dream is to win a medal at the Paralympics and to inspire others to reach their full potential. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Are you ready to get the gold? Because there's going to be a lot. So are you ready to receive it? The next speaker of today is our very own Colin Judge. Welcome, Colin. The floor is yours.
Thanks, Laurie, and thank you everybody for joining in. Sitting on the podium listening to the Irish national anthem at the European Championships was one of my proudest moments. Aran Naveen is a song we often sing on St. Patrick's Day, but for me, it symbolized one of the highlights of my career. I'd won gold for my country, the first ever Irish table tennis player to do so, and I proved a hell of a lot of people wrong. Players and coaches told me from the beginning that table tennis wasn't the sport for me. How would I hold my racket and move the wheelchair with one arm? My friends on the German national team used to call me a tourist. Now I'd qualified for the Paralympics, I was the best player in Europe and on the highest level of funding. And you might think, you're perfect for that. You had a great opportunity and you took it. I'm not disabled enough to go to the Paralympics. But let's imagine that for a moment. I was my parents' firstborn child, the first one born in Ireland with my condition. The doctors told my parents that 3 of my limbs were reabsorbed at birth, which explained why all of my scans were normal. I can only imagine the shock of that day. They told my parents that I was severely handicapped, that I'd need full-time care my entire life, and made out a list of the things that I'd never be able to do. Who here has had people tell them that they wouldn't be successful, and after a while started to believe them? I think we're all given that choice at some point in our lives where we can let others dictate our futures, where we can find out what we're really capable of by pushing our limits every day. I'm very grateful that my parents chose the latter for me. And one of the things that I loved about the way that they reared me was that they didn't wrap me in cotton wool. My mum knew that the world wasn't going to adapt to me and that I was going to need to adapt to the world and be independent someday. She used to leave my shirt and tie out on the bed every morning, even though she knew there wasn't a chance in hell that I could put it on myself. I tried and failed to put on that shirt and tie every morning, but by the age of 8, I was finally able to dress myself. I'm very grateful that she made me exercise that muscle of trying something, failing at it, and trying again, because it's definitely stood to me later in life when the obstacles have been far greater. I spoke to you earlier about winning the European Championships, but I assure you, I didn't always feel like a champion. The teenage years were some of the most difficult times that I had dealing with my disability. The only thing that a 13-year-old boy wants is to fit in. And when you've got one arm and no legs, that's a very difficult thing to do. My friends all started playing rugby, going to parties, drinking beer, kissing girls, and I felt completely left behind. I remember being very angry at God. I used to ask him, why me? In a population of 8 billion, why did I have to be born with one arm and no legs? A lot of the negative feelings that I had towards my disability was because I had no confidence in myself. And I knew that that was something that I needed to change. So how would I gain confidence? Sport was my first answer, because all my friends played sport, and my favorite sports stars on the television, they were very, very confident. I wanted a bit of that. That summer, I went to a sports camp with my younger able-bodied brother. Niall grew up with me having a disability, and so he didn't really see me as being disabled. He had no mercy on me that week. We tried out lots of different sports: rugby, basketball, football, tennis, cricket. He beat me at all of them. Table tennis was the 8th sport that we tried that week, but somehow I fancied my chances. I got off to a good start and established an early lead. Then the doubts started to creep in, though. I'd never managed to get over the line, but I wasn't willing to settle for that any longer. If I was going to lose this game, it was going to be on my terms. And so, for the first time in my life, I took real action, and I managed to win the game that day. There were major celebrations on my part. I'd gotten my long-awaited revenge on my younger brother, and from that day on, it was clear. Table tennis was my sport. It was the only one that I could beat my brother at. My parents saw the success that I achieved in table tennis early on, and saw no reason why I couldn't translate that success into the classroom. I remember being in 4th year in school and speaking to my guidance counselor and telling him that I wanted to study actuary in UCD. I remember him looking at me like I had 3 heads. I think he thought that it was well beyond me. I thought back to the time, though, that the doctors told my parents that I'd need full-time care, and I became determined to prove them wrong. I applied a lot of the lessons that I learned in table tennis, the most important one being goal setting. I set out a lot of short-term goals for myself. Didn't reach a lot of the goals that I set, but the ones that I did reach helped boost the relationship that I had with me and gave me the belief that one day I could achieve my goal. I went on to study actuary in UCD. I graduated 4 years later with a 2:1 degree and worked in the profession for years. And my point here is not that I proved my guidance counselor wrong, but rather that we should never let anyone decide our futures. My whole life, I've had people tell me that I can't do this and I shouldn't do that. And if I'd listened to them, I never would have been able to do very much at all. And sure, I've failed a hell of a lot, probably more than anybody here. But I've had to embrace failure, learn from my mistakes, and fall in love with the process. Trusting your struggle is one of my favorite lines. And what I mean by that is, I think a lot of us, in pursuit of our goals, when we stop to see progress, when we encounter adversity, a lot of us give up. I'd urge you all, when those tough times come along, and believe me, they will, I'd urge you all to fight for that extra 1%, because I'm a big believer that there's fate in life, and all of us will someday get our opportunity. We just need to be ready for it. I've had to trust my struggle for quite a few years now. I spoke to you earlier about winning the European Championships and living my full-time athlete, my dream life. Unfortunately, though, the good times didn't last very long. I was up for a classification review the following March. The Paralympics is classified on the severity of your disability. The wheelchair table tennis classes go from 1 to 5, 1 being the most severely disabled and 5 being the least severely disabled. I was classified into class 2 at the age of 12 and presumed that it was something that was never going to change. Nothing could have prepared me, though, for what the doctors told me that day. We're very sorry, Colin. It's a really close call, but we're going to have to move you up into class 3. Which probably sounds like nothing to all of you. I knew what it meant immediately, though. I knew I was going to be competing against athletes that were considerably physically stronger than me. I was going to lose my ranking. I was going to lose my funding. And worst of all, my qualification hopes for Tokyo 2020 were over. The reclassification has been one of the most difficult things that I've ever had to deal with. And a lot of people laugh at me when I say that after everything that I've been through with my disability. Now I'd achieved more than I ever thought that I would, and I worked bloody hard for it and felt that they were taking it away from me. There was one big reason why I chose to trust my struggle all these years. Something very close to my heart, and something that I realized very early on in my career. Summer 2010, I had a league match here in Dublin. Played absolutely terribly, couldn't put a ball on the table. And I remember being very angry and frustrated coming off the court. This woman came up to me after the match and she said, "Colin, thank you so much." I was very confused. The woman went on, though, to say that before her son and daughter saw me, that they never wanted to be involved in sport, and now that she couldn't get them away from it. I was absolutely blown away by this. I couldn't believe that I'd inspired 2 kids to play sport. But in that moment, it dawned on me. I wasn't just playing table tennis for me. I was showing others what was possible when life isn't easy. Since that day, it's been one of my big goals in life, is to share my story, some of the obstacles that I've encountered and overcome, and hopefully inspire you all to become the best version of yourself. Now, a lot of us think when adversity strikes that the tough times are never going to end. My opportunity did eventually come. The Tokyo 2020 Paralympics were postponed by a year due to COVID, which gave me the time that I needed to qualify. Now, some would say the luck of the Irish, but I say it's fate. I've been to 2 Paralympics now, but I know that no matter how many games that I attend and how many medals that I win, I know that the only thing that I can control is the effort that I put in each day. I remember so well where it all began. A little boy with a dream. A boy in a wheelchair that couldn't run or jump and definitely couldn't play rugby. Dreams of being a champion or of being a Paralympian back then seemed something very unrealistic and far beyond my reach. And I feel very connected to that little boy over the last few months as I've competed in my 2nd Paralympics in Paris, and now I get ready for my 3rd one in LA. All of us are struggling with something, disability, disadvantage, whatever it may be. I'd like to tell you something that was instilled in me at an early age, and something that I never forgot, no matter how many times that adversity has struck me down. It was something that my mum and dad always told me. It is possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin. Let's use that chat. Let's use that chat to share your biggest insight and what you took from this amazing, amazing performance from Colin. And maybe you can add to that a yes or a no if you can answer this question. Who felt something inside of your body when Colin was sharing? And Colin, while I put you back in the main room in a minute, can you share with us how you feel right now? 1 or 2 sentences. How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm really happy, Larry. It was a big challenge doing this today. Like, as you all know, I do a lot of talks for companies and schools, but I've really tried to push myself over the last few months and kind of put into practice what we've learned over the last few months. And I always had the one keynote before, and I'd gotten quite comfortable with it over the years. But this certainly wasn't that. But I'm actually quite happy overall. I feel like it was a lot better than a lot of the times that I practiced with it. And yeah, I'm really happy and grateful for all the support from Larry and from everybody in this course. I feel like I've really improved over the last few months, and I have some speaking opportunities coming up over the next few weeks and months, and I'm just really excited to use a keynote more like this one and just build on what I've learned from this course, because it's been really special.
Well done, man. Well done. Absolutely well done. And what Colin is sharing, he was already speaking. And what I want to give you, Colin, you use the dialogue really, really nicely. Absolutely amazing. And I do see a lot of amazing comments. Yes, I felt something, right? What we're striving towards here is become transformational speakers. I already shared a little bit. It's not just about sharing, it's also about listening. What Colin did really well is he did not just use his words to convey a factual message. He utilized his voice to create an emotion, to create a feeling, to give an insight so you can take action. He's not here to say this is what you have to do. He's bringing you on an emotional roller coaster, on a through line of his own personal story, so you can have your own insight. And Colin is now able to read the chat and go through all your amazing comments because, oh my goody badooties, what did he do a good job? And right now there's still 3, or I should actually say 4 people who are like, okay, Lori, great. I'm next. And one person in particular, because she knows she is going to be the next speaker. And this speaker, she is an absolute badass. She is someone who went through internal adversity. Now, who here went through internal adversity where you felt you had to face these internal thoughts, these internal things to go to the next step, and she faced them and she got on the other side. And now she's on the other side. She wants to share those insights with you. And this woman is on a mission. She shared with me her dreams and her goals yesterday. And she was like, this goal of mine to build a $1 billion company in the next 3 years, it might sound unrealistic, and she's going to do it. So the person I'm going to bring on the stage is Hannah Hammond, and she's going to talk about a life in the green zones. Hannah, the floor is yours.
Hey everyone, and I know I tried to get out of this talk yesterday. I told Lori I wasn't going to be able to do it because I've been so busy and, trying to build this company, and definitely have not prepared or done anything for the talk. So I'll just speak from the heart, and Lori didn't give me a way out. So here we are. But today I want to share something with everyone that completely transformed my life. And that is the concept of living life in the green zone. The green zone is a state of mind where you're coming from a place of love, creation, joy, fulfillment, and where you're in this state of flow. Like if you've ever seen Michael Jordan, when he's in his flow state, he's just hitting every single basketball, and it looks so easy, so smooth. Time flies. Everybody's excited. He's in the zone. And that's a state in the green zone where you get the best results possible, and everything just is fun and you feel good. And the concept of the yellow or the red zone is actually where most Americans live. And studies show this. And the yellow and the red zone is where you feel stressed, you feel anxious, time maybe moves slow, you're not getting the results that you want, you feel angst, anger, fear, scarcity, all of these negative emotions and negative states that are never going to serve you for your life. And so I want to take you back, because for the first many years of my life, I lived in the red zone. I got so bad that I actually was suicidal when I was 20 years old and wanted to end my life. And what I realized was that every single day I was waking up in panic. I couldn't sleep. I had chronic nightmares. I absolutely hated myself and my life. I was crazy enough. I was getting all the external things of success. On paper, I looked good. I had a thriving business. I was making good money. I had the title that I wanted. So to the outside world, it seemed like I was doing well, but inside I was completely broken. And every single day, I couldn't even celebrate my wins. And part of me thought that that burnout and that stress and that anxiety was just what it took to be successful. And that's what's so sad, is I think so many people, so many of us live in this state and think, well, if I have big goals and big dreams and I'm an entrepreneur and I want to accomplish all these things, that grind is just part of the process. And I eventually learned when I hit rock bottom that I just couldn't live this way anymore. And if I continued to do what I was doing, I was going to not make it. And I can't imagine having killed myself when I was 20 years old. And now I live in this green zone. And every single day, my metric is that 90% of my life, I'm living in the green zone, where I'm coming from a place of love, creation, joy, expansion. And I really feel in this state of flow. And so how I figured this out was when I hired my very first coach. I was 25 years old. So it was about almost 4 years ago now. And he wasn't a business coach. He wasn't a strategy coach. He was an energetic intelligence coach. And I had no idea what energetic intelligence was, but I was on a mission to grow a big business and I wanted to feel better. And someone referred him to me. And so I started working with him. And he gave me a few tools that I'm going to share with you today to make sure I live my life in the green zone. Because he said, if you get an A in class, if you get a 90% or better, that's the best you can do. And if you relate that to your life, 10% of your life is going to suck. There's going to be loss. There's going to be failure. There's going to be arguments or fights or losses or lawsuits or all these different things, right? But if you can live your life knowing that 90% of your life was in the green zone, then you know at the end of your life that you truly lived your best life. So the first three things, the three tools that he taught me was, the first one was to do energy audits and check-ins. So when I was first getting in this habit of awareness of how my state was, I started to set alarms on my phone, like 3 to 5 alarms a day, where it would just ding and remind me and say, check in. And I would ask myself, how am I feeling right now? What am I doing? Who am I with? And where am I? And so this just really started to give me the awareness of what are the activities I'm doing in my life that make me feel expansive, that make me feel excited, that make me feel in a state of flow, creative, passionate, and where my results are really the maximum that they possibly can be. Because studies show that if people are in a state of flow, whether it's you or people throughout your organization, they're actually 5 times more productive. So imagine working 1/5 of the amount of time on the tasks that you're doing and getting 5 times the results. And instead of just trying to force all of these results in a red or yellow zone, you're not going to get the outcomes that you desire. So that was the first thing I did. And I started to really become aware of the things I was doing in my life that were making me feel contracted and stressed out and overwhelmed. I realized the fiance I was engaged to was making me feel very contracted and wasn't the best fit for me as a partner in my life. And I actually left him and moved on to things that made me feel more expansive. I realized the work that I was doing was leaving me in a state of stress and overwhelm. And I was doing a lot of activities that I should be delegating because they weren't necessarily my unique gift or ability. And I was wearing all the hats that I shouldn't have been wearing. I started to realize certain foods made me feel bad or sluggish or guilty after eating them or not in this peak state of mind. I realized that exercise made me feel really, really good. Sunlight made me feel really good. House music, certain music with a high beat per minute made me feel really good. Talking to particular people made me feel really good, particular friends and family members, and others, not so much. And so just the first step was that awareness of what makes me feel good, what makes me feel love, creation, expansion, joy, passion, purpose, and what makes me feel bad. And so just doing these little alarms every single day, because otherwise I would just get lost in the routine of what I was doing. So those little alarms helped me get that awareness of what made me feel good or bad. And then I just started leaning more into what made me feel great and doing less of what made me feel bad. The second thing is called the morning integrity setup. So this is where for me, it's a 2-hour setup. For some people, it may be 5 minutes. For some people, it may be half the day. But the morning integrity setup concept is before you start your day, before you start putting out fires, especially if you're a founder or a CEO, before you live your life in a state of reaction, you get yourself in the absolute peak state of mind. Because Poet was my coach, and he shared with me, the outcome can only be as great as the energetic state in which you initiate the action. So if you let that sink in, the outcome can only be as great as the energetic state in which you initiate the action. So if you are doing anything in your life and starting anything in your life that is not in a peak energetic state, then your outcome is not going to be the peak outcome that it can be. So it doesn't even make sense to do these things if you're not in a peak energetic state. So that is the number one priority that you could possibly have for your life, is to keep yourself in that energetic state and recognize when you get knocked out of it. So every day you start your day, you get yourself in that peak state. These energy audits, that tool I taught you first, will help you become aware of what gets you in that peak state, what makes you feel really good. If you get knocked out of the green zone, how to get yourself back there quickly. So again, for me, that's sunlight, that's eating the right food, that's working out. So that's what my morning looks like. 5 minutes of meditation to clear my mind, go out in the sun, get some sunshine, walk to the gym, have my workout. I listen to a book while I work out or while I'm getting ready. I make myself good food or protein shake after the gym. And these little tiny things get me in that peak performance state. So I know that my outcomes are going to be best throughout the day. So pay attention to what your morning integrity setup might look like and make sure that's in integrity with your higher purpose, your higher vision, and what really makes you feel good in your life. The third thing that I'm going to teach you that I learned from Poet is called a daily win review. This stands for what's working, what isn't working, and what needs to change. So this is super simple. I usually do it for 5 minutes. It's best if you write it down, but if you just do it in your head, that's good too. It allows you to every single day, instead of waiting a month or a year or a decade to realize the path that you're on and are the things that you're doing really in line with the purpose for your life and really in line with what makes you feel the best? Or are you doing things that aren't working, that aren't in integrity? Are you just reacting every single day instead of creating a life from that place of love and joy and expansion and intention and purpose? And so these daily win reviews really help me stay on track with what my mission is, what's making me feel good, what needs to change, and always have that awareness. And it always comes back to awareness, because I think so many of us entrepreneurs, we can get so disconnected and we're always in such a reactive state. We don't even have the awareness that we have a neurotic, anxious, scarcity, fearful energy. And I know for me, I was always operating from this place of disconnection, this place of fear, this place of anxiety and stress and overwhelm. And no matter what I did, I never had that feeling of fulfillment and satisfaction. So these daily win reviews always help me stay on track with what's working in my life. And it allows me to celebrate the wins, and it allows me to course correct what isn't working before it piles up to some massive issue. And so just to share a time when these strategies helped me is one time I was going into a meeting with a really big client, and it was a really big deal. And it was a multi-$100,000 commission that was on the line. And something had happened. I don't even remember what, but I was feeling, I recognized, because of these tools, I recognized that I was not in a peak state. I recognized that I was in close to the red zone. I was super stressed out. I was really angry at something. I was disconnected. I was anxious. And I was about to go into this meeting, just, back to back meetings. I was about to go into this meeting, and I realized the energetic state, the outcome can only be as great as the energetic state in which I initiate the action. So before going in that meeting, I went out and got some sunshine. I listened to a song that I liked. I called my best friend, who always makes me feel happy, and we started laughing on the phone. And it was literally just a few minutes before I stepped into that meeting. But because I had the awareness, because I was in tune with my state, and because I had the tools to get myself back in a peak state, I was able to go into that meeting in the green zone. And I know that if I didn't, I would have lost that client and would have lost that deal, because that was a very frustrating client, and he was about to pull the contract from me because we were just completely butting heads. And so just these little tools not only saved me or made me hundreds of thousands of dollars in that one instance scenario, but it also allowed me to go into a meeting feeling good and feeling excited and feeling ready and feeling in that peak state, because I knew that my outcomes were going to be great if my state was great going into it. So why is this so important? Because life isn't measured by the success that we have. Success isn't measured by just the things that we build. It's measured by how we feel throughout the journey. And there truly is no destination. Like, every single day is the destination. All we have is right here and right now. And so if we can live our life knowing that right here and right now, we feel good, we feel energetic, we feel creation, we feel expansion, we feel love, we feel joy, then we know we lived our best life. And all the other little details don't really matter. It doesn't really matter how big your company is, or it doesn't really matter what your sales goal was, or if you hit it or not. And the amazing thing is if you focus on your energetic state and you focus on your state of being as your number one priority, then all these other outcomes will flow to you rather than you trying to force everything to happen.
Absolutely amazing. Please, everybody, put in the chat what your biggest takeaway was. Well, Hannah, you're answering the question, how do you feel right now?
I feel good. I mean, it was completely unprepared and I had no idea on timing or anything. I just kind of had my ideas for the 3 points and it was fun.
Yes, that is a really cool answer. It was fun. And it's going to be fun for you as well to read the comments, because you, woman, you absolutely crushed it. Like, for everybody in the chat, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being super fake and very scripted, 10 being absolutely speaking from the heart, clear and authentic. Like, what was Hannah right now? Like, seriously. And I really want you to see this, Hannah, because you were like, okay, I didn't prepare, I don't know what to talk about. And then yet you do. Yet you do. And when you speak from the heart, woman, you radiate such an authentic strength. It just flows right in. Look at the chat, 100, a 10. You're absolutely amazing. And when you speak from that heart, knowing that you know, because you know, you crush it always, everywhere. So I think that's a really good anchor for you for this moment in time. Well done.
Thanks, Lori.
Well done. Well done. And that is what this is about. Like what Nilsa did. She shared a personal story that happened to her yesterday. Hannah, she shared what's on her heart right now. Being intentional, right? The words we speak to ourselves matter. When we say, I don't know, you're probably not going to know. When we ask ourselves the question, okay, I know I don't know, but what if I would know? And when you come from that openness, that look for possibility, that's where we will find the possibility. Especially when we've practiced the speaking muscle over and over again, which Hannah obviously did, because she's able to just own herself while the spotlight is on her, and it was really, really good. So enjoy the comments and enjoy the other proof that you now have again, where you show yourself that when you just speak from the heart, you crush it. Absolutely well done. And what I said, we still have amazing speakers left. And the next one will be again about the topic around finances. This guy is absolutely amazing, and he's going to share with us what he actually shared last week for an amazing mastermind where you need to pay $100,000 to be part of it. And he's going to share that with you right now. Like, who's excited that they're here? And what I'm going to share is a little story. And this little story is going to bring you in the excitement, into the emotional, the energetic state to absolutely absorb what he's going to share. Because as founders, as entrepreneurs, we do take bets, don't we? We do want to make sure that our money is secured, that what we focus on is actually the best return of our investment, whether that's money or whether that's time. Right now, we're talking about money. And last year, there was 11.3 billion bet on horse racing. And maybe you've never bet on horse racing, but if you would, and you would have bet on the name Jataka, and I hope I pronounced his name right, he's from Japan, you would have been really, really smart, because he won almost 5,000 races and got you a lot of money if you would bet on that one specific horse. But what today is going to be about, what Jeremiah is going to share about, is that you don't per se want to bet on the horse. You want to bet on the one who's riding the horse. You don't per se want to bet on the companies, but you want to bet on the founders. Jeremiah is a founder. He's a founder of a commercial real estate investment company, and that specializes in diversity income streams, in high returns, in tax benefits, strong recession resistance, all of the above. And with 20 years in the experience in this industry, he's now going to share how you are going to get the best returns on your investments. Without further ado, welcome to the stage, There, Jeremiah.
Yeah, hey, all right. We'll hop into it. All right, so the presentations, it's the jockey, not the horse. So what does that mean? Well, first off, how many of you guys have ever tried to raise money before? Anyone out there? All right, how many people have actually invested in someone else's project where they've raised money and you've invested in them? Let me know in the chat. You guys send it in there. If you've ever had to raise money, let me know. How many people have ever made money with other people? And how many people have lost money while investing in other people? And how many people have no idea what's going on with the status of their investment? Well, I'll tell you why this is all important, all these questions here. As entrepreneurs, we're either investing or we're raising capital. That's how we grow a company, and that's how we live in this capitalistic society here. And the reality of what I've learned over the 20 years of being in real estate investment, fundraising, and doing big deals is the rich love an inside game. Like they don't do what the masses do. They don't just invest in the market. They invest on an inside game where they love to find good deals and great businesses. Right? And they want to make sure that they get in on it first, where they're doing something different than everyone else. So I don't know if you've ever been in these social circles at charity events or cocktail parties with wealthy networks, but they'll tell you, I got in on Bitcoin really early and I made a big return. Or I got in before Uber went public and got a massive return. Or I got in on a real estate deal my friend got me and did really well and made cash flow for the last 10 years. So I thought to myself, okay, in this business, what does money really buy the rich? Why are they doing things that are so different than the masses? And then I figured out, well, true wealth buys two things. And it's not these two things. It's not just cars and flashy planes. And yes, you can be wealthy and have those things. But what it really comes down to is your time. Wealthy people really, really want to buy back their time. And they'll invest in anything that can save them more time. And secondly, we're part of this network that I was presenting at last week, and we pay the founder of the network a lot of money to be part of this network. And people do this, they join country clubs and they join social events and different communities. And why do they do it? Why do we do that with this speaking course? We want access to networks. Right? We want to be around smart people that have great ideas and they're building amazing things. And that exposure changes everything for us. So when I started out in real estate, I ran out of money really fast. And in real estate, it's a capital intensive business. So I had to go raise money. And what did I do? Well, I looked like I was 12 years old at the time. So I joined a network and I found this real estate network where we did a real estate cruise together. And on that cruise, I met up with a couple that worked for Microsoft in Seattle. And I was pitching my business and my deal, and it was affordable housing. So they invested with me. And then as soon as they invested, all hell broke loose because I invest in these things that are called mobile home parks in the United States. It's maybe you've seen them in Europe as well. You guys call them trailer camps or something, but they're very, very low income, affordable housing. And the second that I invested in this type of property, all hell broke loose. Where I had my maintenance man was on heroin and he would fall asleep while he was painting the house. Or I had my manager, and I live in Las Vegas, this property's there. He was gambling the rents. He was taking them out of the ATM and gambling them at the casino. Or there was a cowboy that came out while I was trying to collect rent from him. He had a cowboy hat on and a Budweiser and a gun in his hand, and he was waving it around telling me why he shouldn't have to pay rent. And I finally said, that's enough. So I'm done. So I sold the property at a discount. And I lost my investors' money on paper. And that was a tough move for me because they trusted me. And I was trying to really do the right thing and make them a good return. And obviously, I thought I had a successful business. But I structured the deal where they were able to get some of their capital back. And then I worked my butt off for the next year and made sure that they got the rest of their capital back and paid them back. And that was something I thought everyone did. These are the type of people that we deal with out there. So that I thought, okay, there's two different philosophies around investing. I fast forward, and 15 years from that point, I got some success and I started to want to invest in other people. So a friend of mine invested with me. I figured, okay, I'll invest with him. And he had an idea about building this dental company that would buy up other dental practices. It's called a private equity roll-up, where you buy a bunch of small businesses, you put them in one big company, and then you sell that big company to a bigger company and then make big returns. And he said, hey, we should make at least a 5 times return on our money. It was really high. And I thought, wow, that would be great. You know, why not? I'll do it. And I really didn't look into it. And then 2 years go by. I don't hear much about the investment. And then he talks to me and says, hey, we got an offer from private equity. I'm like, great. How did we do? And he said, well, not great. We actually lost all the money. The private equity firm diluted all your shares. And I was like, wow, well, what are you going to do? How are we going to get this back? And he said, well, that's the nature of the investment. You know, we're big boys and that's the way it goes. And that was a shock to me, that there was not even an idea about trying to structure something to pay the investor back. And that's the norm in this institutional investment world. And that was a shock. So I looked at it and I said, okay, let me analyze the situation, because I don't want to do that again. That was a hard loss. Both horses, when I mean horses, the companies that we were invested in, they're good industries, right? They're good strategies. They're useful products, affordable housing, dental. There's good revenues. They were valid businesses, but crises happen. Things go wrong. We all know that. We're all in business, right? Pandemics hit. Interest rates go up. They go down. Industries get in vogue and out of vogue. So I looked at this and I thought to myself, well, what is the difference that makes the difference? And we all know this guy here. This guy's the ultimate jockey, right? Love him or hate him. If he starts a company and raises money, he fills that raise. Everybody wants to invest in Elon. So what I knew is betting, it's the jockey, not the horse, meaning it's the investor or it's the sponsor, it's the partner, not the actual business or the vehicle that you're investing in. So the purpose of my talk is, how do you pick the right jockey? How do you pick the right partner? And if you're raising money, or if you want to get someone to be your partner, who do you have to be so that they're going to want to partner with you? And you can address these key questions up front. Because this is what everyone's thinking in their mind, but they might not know a way of actually how to articulate them. So the first question is, what does your company do? And if you can't answer what your company does, or it's unclear, then it's a high likelihood that you can't lead a team and you can't build it. And if it's complicated, like the person I was investing in, the dental company, he had some special tool that was going to measure your gum health and then tell you your longevity of your life, but it was too complex and I didn't quite get it. The second question is, how much skin in the game do you have? Now, this is a super important one. It can be uncomfortable too. But if you're going to partner with somebody, or someone's going to partner with you, you ask them, how much money do you have in this deal? Like real cash, be honest with me. And how much of your friend and family's money, your mother's money, or your credit that you're putting up on this? And we want to know, how much skin in the game do you truly believe in this? And when I started out, with that partner in the dental company, I didn't ask him that question. And I realized that he didn't have a lot of his wealth in this venture. He already made some money and he was moved on, and it was a small percentage. So he wasn't really had a lot of skin in the game. Next is, what else are you working on? Ask them the hard question. What other projects are you doing? If you have 5 different projects in 5 different industries, it's a high probability you're not focused on this partnership or our investment together. And when I looked at, I never asked the dental guy's question here, because he was doing some insurance stuff. They were doing real estate investments. They were doing the dental company, but they were spread all over. And when stuff hit the fan, they ended up obviously going somewhere else. Number 4, tell me about a failure and what did you do about it? This one's big. So just ask them the hard question. What happened when you failed? And if they first have never failed in business, that is a huge red flag. They have not been battle tested, right? They haven't been, we've all been there. We all know how business is. It is a competitive world. And secondly, if they don't share their failures, they're not open and disclosing, or they're not transparent. And in my eyes, that's even worse. So the fact that throughout my investment with this company, they never shared with me how bad it was. I never knew what was going on, or if there was a way that I could go help or try to find a solution so I don't lose all my money. So that's really, really important to see how they answer, how they failed before. And number 5, who's on your team and why, right? No more investing just in founders. We all know everybody has great ideas. We see it on social media every day. Everyone has this amazing idea. They're going to make the next Amazon or some type of massive company. But what is the difference that makes the difference? A team that can execute. Execution makes investment returns. And when I looked at what these guys were doing in the dental company, I should have asked myself, no one even operated a dental office before. So he had no team. And I didn't check on it because I was blinded by wanting to just get investment returns and the fact that he was my friend. And then sixth, this one's a gut check. You got to really feel their energy on this one. It's like, are they willing to die on the horse to win? What are they willing to do to make this thing a success? And you can feel that, right? You know when people are truly committed and when they're not. And looking back, my friend already had a big exit. The dental company, he already made money earlier in his career. This was a second life for him. So he wasn't truly hungry to have to make this thing work to get his goals in his life. So the next time you get pitched, if there's an opportunity there, a partnership or an investment, then there's going to be everywhere. You're going to wonder, what do I do? What should I get involved with? Because we're all entrepreneurs or we're all investors at some level, and we want to be excited. We want to work on new projects and ideas and work with people. And instead, we get blinded. So let me look at his last story here with you guys, where would you invest with this guy? He's quite an interesting character here. And on the surface, most people I don't think would. Now, a friend of mine, he's a 80-year-old CEO. He's a big investor in my funds and in my company. And he told me a story, and he shared with me, Jeremiah, this man came up to me as David, and he tried to raise capital. And I wanted to I put him through the 6-question jockey test. That's where I learned it from. He asked him first, what does your business do? And that individual there, David, well, he's building a software company. And it's a software company that's going to educate kids, and it's going to create community. It was very clear on what he was doing. Secondly, how much skin in the game do you have, David? And David had everything in there. He made $500,000 on a previous exit, and he had every dime invested in this company. The third thing, what else are you working on, David? As Bob asked him. And David had nothing. Like, this was it. He is solely focused on this software company, and he would do nothing else until he achieves his goal. Number 4, tell me about a time that you failed, and what did you learn from it? And David said, we might not make money. This is a big dream and vision that I have. And we may run out of money, and there's going to be challenges because this investment opportunity was 20 years ago, and the internet was quite slow, and it was still getting up to speed. So he shared with him all of the obstacles that he'd had in the past and what might happen in the future. Number 5, who's on your team and why? And David had great software developers. Everybody was committed, and they were getting equity in the company too. So everybody wanted the thing to win. And then lastly, are you fully committed? And Bob knew that this is a hungry entrepreneur. He's been battle tested. He's had failures. He has a good team, and he's got all the skin in the game, and he felt good about making the investment. And that company ended up being Roblox, if you've ever heard of it before, right? and he invested $400,000. And my friend Bob, in 20 years, made over $100 million from that investment. And it truly changed his life and his family's life. And that ended up being David. David transformed into a hell of a businessman, and it's probably the biggest gaming company for kids in the entire world. So don't judge that book by the cover and look at that jockey test. So Bob trusted David. That's what it really comes down to. Partnerships, investing in anyone that's investing in you or you investing in them. It comes down to trust and being aligned on similar values. So Bob believed, let's look at it. Bob believed in the company. Obviously, that's the horse. We all want to focus on the horse, the investment vehicle, or the actual deal that we're jumping into. And it's easy to get blinded on what the jockeys, who they are and what they're doing. But the fact that David was focused, completely focused, he had a strong team, and he was fully committed. He was all in. Bob was able to trust him. And then second, Bob was patient. He knew that even there was going to be challenges. David shared it up front. And the fact that he was patient, Roblox didn't have cash flow for over 10 years. Bob did not make a return on his money, but he didn't panic. And then lastly, Bob didn't let fear or greed drive his decision. He wasn't following the masses. He wasn't regretting what he did. He wasn't trying to find the next investment or the next partner so that he could make up for what he thought was a loss while there were things going on. So the next time you're raising money or investing money, you have this system to evaluate opportunities or to present your opportunity. And if the right person at the right time and the right ideas show up, then you can ask them the jockey test, or you put yourself through the jockey test and you share with them, these are the things that I'm willing to do to get to the finish line and to win the race. And who knows, you may be investing $100,000 and it could turn into 100 million.
Let's go, Jeremiah. Well done. Please put in the chat what your biggest takeaway was. 6 questions of the jockey test, but, and this is the fun part about speaking, everybody will have their own insights based on their own model of the world, based on their own entrepreneurship journey. So please put in the chat what your biggest takeaway was, because for Jeremiah and all the other speakers, it's really valuable to know. Because maybe it's something they least expect. So it's really, really interesting to see what's sticking for them. Jeremiah, how do you feel right now?
I feel great, Lori. A lot of preparation, and the fact that we worked on this quite a bit, and you gave me some great insights about the through line of the story. Lori helped me take that story and weave it into every principle that I was sharing. And I hope that resonated with people, where the story's tied into the principles so that you embody the principles if you're going to be raising money or partnering with people in the future.
Yeah, well done. And we got a big view on your heart, who felt this authenticity, by the way, as well, right? This is what we see as one of the biggest pillars of transformational speakers, and you absolutely crushed it. So I'm sure that when people are looking to invest their money, they will knock on your door as well.
Yeah, thanks.
Well done. And by the way, this is the cool part, right? The site that you're on right now, when you scroll down, you see the full names of all the speakers, so you're able to follow them as well, because most of them are active on social media, so you're able to follow the journey along the way. And along the way, we are on this road as well, because there's still an amazing speaker, or in this case, I should say speakers, who are ready to deliver their transformational message to you. And I say that because it's a duo, and it's a very, very special duo. It's Rocky and Carmen, and some people call them Mama D or Papa Rock, right? They're just amazing couple. You're gonna experience this yourself, and what they're gonna share is a very, what I say, unique solution. It's a solution to, as parents, as grandparents, live together with your children and your grandchildren, which what they call is multi-generational living. And right now they're going to share with you the communication in a multi-generational home. Please, a big round of applause for Carmen and Rocky. The floor is yours, Jill.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lori, and thank you for the team we've been working with. We're so excited to be here. As I walked in to the back door of my grandmother's house, I could smell fresh baked bread. It was amazing. There was a loaf on the table, and beside it was homemade jam and homemade butter. Being a child, it was just like a wonderland of aromas and feelings, because my grandmother and aunt always welcomed me. Who can relate to my childhood memory? For you, maybe it was a special birthday or a special Christmas.
Yeah, because isn't that what stays with us as our core memories? My grandmother had a back door too. And I remember driving to Oklahoma to see her. And as I walked in the door, I could see on the counter a fresh brewed coffee. And at the kitchen table was my granny, my great aunt Pat, my aunt Aggie. And as I entered, almost in unison, they said to me, "Drag up a chair, Rocky." Their pitch game being interrupted just long enough for them to stand up and give me a hug and a kiss. And then we sat down and played. Well, you may be asking, why is this so important? Well, let me answer that question by traveling to the present. Now we are grandparents and we're retired, and the memories of our childhood keep floating through our minds.
But time kept slipping away faster and faster, and I was feeling anxious. I wasn't getting my cup full of grandmother memories with our grandchildren until there was a breakthrough with Rick, our son.
In 2016, my son Rick was working for an oil-related company, and when the price of oil dropped, he was laid off. This was his big chance to go into be an entrepreneur creating wooden designs. One of my passions was woodworking. He said, I'm retired, so I began to work with him, and we had a great time. And I got to be around the grandkids a little more often than Torment. All was going well with the workshop, but was it was a little small. It was actually the garage, and the neighbor next door was irritated with the noise. Now, Jackie, his wife, started to become frustrated with the neighbor, and they really needed more space for the 3 children under the ages of 12. Things were getting pretty hectic at their house.
Meanwhile, I was angry, frustrated, and jealous. Rocky was with the family, and I wasn't. Our perfect home, our family home, was becoming a hazard. Coming down the stairs, there'd be slips and falls, and also downsizing looked like a good plan. Somehow I found out that Jackie was frustrated as well. And, intuition took over. So what do you think smart women do when they have to solve a problem?
They go to lunch.
Sharing our challenges, I asked her, what is it you would really like to have in a house? And the visions came tumbling out. Well, I had a paper napkin, and I asked Jackie, okay, what is it you would like to have in a house? And she said she wanted a large kitchen, and she wanted a large workshop, and she wanted a pool. Well, I wrote and wrote, and then I wanted a 1-story house, and I wanted an art room, and I wanted a garden. And you may be asking yourself, is this risky?
Sure. or things, or maybe you're thinking, have they lost their minds? However, we're talking about 4 well-educated individuals who were faith-based and had a desire to spend more time with the family to create meaningful memories. We did a lot of thorough thinking and planning. Our communication with each other was on point. The benefits were far greater than the risk. Powerful memories and commitment was on our side.
Now, if you know Jackie, which I know Jackie, she was a meticulous planner, and she did lots of research and narrowed down a lot of the choices. We had countless trips to visit different houses for sale, and the napkin vision was our map, okay? And it was like a giant puzzle. We had many edge pieces for the edge and random parts for the center, but we weren't getting the whole picture.
And meanwhile, the kids were growing up. The neighbor was a thorn in my son's side and my side, and our vision seemed to get a little bit blurry. However, the saw was still turning, and the business was growing, and the search continued. And then it happened.
Well, we looked, we found, we conquered. I was so excited, I forgot I was a people pleaser. And that is one person who goes along saying that everything's okay, but deep down you have some doubts. I was the grandmother that was a bit scared to share my voice. The original office, now this was great. The original office had a vaulted ceiling and built-in bookshelves, and they had wooden shutters on the windows that were just beautiful. It was everything I didn't have as a child. However, it was right off the kitchen, and the door didn't lock. The art room was all glass on one side, and it was great because the light would come in, but at night it was kind of scary. It was a pass-through from the kitchen to the back door, and so it was pretty busy. And I was a saver. I like to collect things, and things got kind of disorganized. It was on view for everybody. Ouch. When I saw the house, I just said to myself, I can make this work. Not honesty was what was talking.
And I'm a bit of a people pleaser too, but I have to say I had sticker shock and was a little bit nervous. Yet I knew that this was the right purchase. Once we started sharing that what we were going to do with people, we got a lot of pushback. Our family and friends were saying, you know, are you sure you want to do that? Have you thought this through? What if it doesn't work? Well, we know they had our best interests at heart, but we were fearless and we pushed forward. So what do you think we did? We prayed about it. We went forward with our vision, realizing that this was an opportunity on several different levels. We could share expenses, the mortgage, insurance, utilities, etc., and boasting family ties. You know, they had built-in child care, and we had quality time with grandkids, just to mention a few. Now, were there any hurdles, or issues? Well, of course there were. COVID-19. when many families were distanced from each other and couldn't be together for months, we weathered them all. Oh, and speaking of weather, in 2021, we had sub-zero temperatures for 3 or 4 days. Not a good thing in Texas. Busted water pipes, folks without electricity for days, rolling blackouts. You know, it was just a mess. But we were pretty creative and worked around the blackouts that we had to do with the rolling blackouts.
And we lived together long enough to fill our minds with beautiful memories from October 2018 to 2021. We knew when we moved in, we had a good exit strategy and that it was not going to be forever. We knew that we actually knew where we were going next. Our next vision was to become urban dwellers downtown in an apartment. Looking back after 3 years of multi-generational living, we wouldn't trade the experience for anything. Rick and Jackie are in the home and thriving. He is working full-time for an investment group now. Jackie works at their children's school in administration. And
the napkin vision exercise is still alive and well in our family. Just this past Sunday, we took our boys and their wives out to lunch. While we were there, they received a clear bag filled with a napkin, a pen, some candy, and Mama D's instruction sheet. Communication with our adult children is vital to us, keeping the memories that we have alive.
Hopefully this will reinforce with them that they are important to us, we love them, and the visions for their future. We have a question for you.
What's your napkin vision story? If you would like to learn more about our family communications or active listening, you can contact us get our information through our website, multigenlivingsolutions.com. And I'll put that in the chat for everybody. So,
and we would love to hear from you.
Thank you for joining us.
Whoa! Big round of applause. I see a lot of people in the back scene applauding. Please put your insight in the chat. I can just speak from my heart to yours. I just love you. I just love watching you. And I hope that everybody see that as well. This is a story about multi-generational living. But can we see that it is way more than this? This is about communication with your adult children. This is about having respect for each other. This is about being in alignment with who you are, what you're meant to be. It's just so beautiful to watch you both as pure human beings. It's absolutely amazing. Please put in the chat what your biggest insight was on this. And I saw a lot of napkin vision story comments. Just know that wording is going to be a really beautiful through line for the next version. So well done.
We still have the napkin.
There you go. One or two sentences, Carmen and Rocky. How do you both feel right now? Because, and this is for everybody in the room, yesterday, everybody got the lineup and they said to me, why do we need to go lost, Lori? So how do you feel now? You've done it. How do you feel? In 1 or 2 sentences.
I feel great. I mean, it's good to have it over, but at the same time, it was, without your help, it would have been horrible. So I'm telling you, and the group that we work with, I mean, all of the speakers today, plus some others, and I really enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun putting it together. So
I feel like I'm going to cry because I'm so happy. This is a story that's been stored for years. And my parents, you know, they say kids watch their parents to learn how to walk. I watched my parents to learn how to speak because they were both speakers. And my mother won speech contests in high school, and my father was in public service.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to carry on the legacy.
So well done. Well done, you both.
thank you.
Well done, everybody. Well done, everybody. Wasn't this absolutely out of our mind? Way to go. Did a great job. You're amazing parents. Like, these speakers, they worked 8 weeks to create a story where they felt the clarity, where they felt the confidence, and they also included all the ways to include storytelling, to create engagement loops, to make sure that you are compelled to take action, to take the next step, because that is what transformational speakers do. They don't just educate. They don't just motivate. They create an insight for you so you can take action upon what they shared. And that is what I would love to end with today. Because it was so much amazing content, the time just flew by. Please put in the chat one thing you're going to do. What is it? Is it to go down below at the website and figure out who the speakers were and start to follow them? Is this to take action upon any insight that they shared? Are you going to create your napkin vision? Are you going to go through the Rocky test? Are you going to make sure you're living in the green zone and looking through the lens of the win? What works? What isn't working? What needs to change? Are you going to believe it's possible? Because what Colin shared, like when he can do it, you can do it. And last but not least, our amazing Nilsa, who started off today, building an empire of financial literacy. What is the action that you're going to do? You've been playing so full out. Transformational speakers are here to be able to perform because you were transformational listeners. Know that whatever is on your heart, whatever story you have inside, it is possible to share that as well. On this website, there's a beautiful training as well to learn more about transformational speaking. It's absolutely for free. Just know that whatever you have on your heart, it's ready to get out there. And other people are just as excited as you. Listening to them, they will just be as just excited to listen to you. With that said, we're going to close off this amazing Zoom room, and everybody who's part of the amazing Public Speaking Academy. I know we're a little bit over time, but we'll meet back in the Zoom to reflect a little on what has happened today. All right, you all. Absolutely, absolutely amazing.
One day, we'll be looking back on this and we'll say, aren't you happy that we did it our way? Everyone we knew was saying no way, but we were never listening anyway. So don't be just standing in the doorway. Don't you know we gotta hit the highway? Darling, this is gonna be a good day. And I've gotta say that I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. One day, I'll be looking back on this and I'll say, I'm so happy that you said you would stay. There were times I know that I was crazy, fraying at the edges and you saved me. I'm losing count of chances that you gave me. You're laughing at me dancing really badly and telling me the reasons why you'd gladly do it all again. 'Cause I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Well, hey, words can never adequately convey everything you're giving to me today. But holding you is better than a holiday, and leaving you I dread it like exam day. So at the risk of sounding kinda risque, everything to now has been the foreplay. Darling, I would follow you to Norway, or anywhere you want it, 'cause I'm not bad